Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ITSnippets. Today I'm going to show you how to set up OBS for recording 4K video. So let's get started. First thing you'll need is a copy of OBS. You can get that by going to www.obsproject.com and just clicking Windows, Mac or Linux for your general operating system. Download it and install it like any other Windows application. Then you should be able to see it in your start bar. So just click on your start bar and type OBS and it should come up. And once it's come up, you will see a representation of a blank scene. As you can see at the moment, it's not picking up my desktop audio, but it is for somehow picking up a microphone. That'll be my default microphones. Well, that should be my Yeti sitting next to me. The first thing you're going to have to do is actually go into your settings. I'm outputting in this one, so I'll go to output. You can set your video folder here. I don't mind large file sizes, so I'm okay with that. I change recording quality to higher. Lossless quality is a bit on the large side, to be fair. Recording format, I use MKV, however choose MP4 or MOV depending on your preference. If you have an encoder, you can select software low CPU usage, which increases the file size, but you can also select hardware, NVENC. I have a GTX 1080 in this, so I'll be using the hardware encoding. If you go up to output mode, we can change this to advanced. And inside advanced is where we'll be playing around with a bit more settings. So let's jump over to video just now, and we should set our base canvas to 4K, which is 3840 to 160. And I don't really want it to scale on the output, so I also want that to be 4K. And I'm only using 30 frames per second. Unless you're doing action videos or something like that, 30 frames per second for screen grab is generally fine. So now that we've got our canvas set, we can click apply and then click OK. So I'll have to set this scene up and I'll just rename it by right clicking and going rename. And I'll go to call that main capture. Okay, so inside the sources here, and it'll get a bit funky when I do this. I'll click plus, display capture. And I have 3 displays connected to this, so my main capture is going to be my center, or central monitor. I'm going to click OK, and that's not my central monitor, it's selected. It should be that one, so select the correct one, and then click OK. And I would then do the same for the other 2 monitors that I have. I don't change between them very often, but I have been known to do so on occasion. So that should be display 3. Click OK. And then that just leaves my right monitor, which is display 1. Okay, and that's selected the correct monitor for that. So just so it doesn't look daft, we'll jump over to the central monitor. I'll just turn the right monitor off just now by clicking the little eye. So because we're recording in 4K, we're going to have to go to settings. We're going to have to go to our output, and this 25 is basically 2.5 megasecond. That's probably not going to be high enough. So let's bring this up. And let's just check what a good bitrate for 4K is. Nice, simple search. So YouTube's straight away, it's interesting. Seems to prefer MP4s in 264. And here's the bitrate recommendations. Okay, so for 30 frames per second, it wants 35 to 45 megabyte. So if we jump back in here, we'll see it's only 2.5 megabyte. So we'll change that to 45, and then add a 0 on it. So that should be 45 megabyte per second. Obviously, this may differ depending on your content and your setup. Always test these settings before you record a major video that you're going to end up uploading. So that should be okay for in there just now. Click apply, go new. I also have a webcam, so right click and add. It will be a video capture device. It's a Logitech C930 I've got, so I'll just give that as a name and then click OK. And it has selected it. And I've got my privacy cover on it at the moment, so it's not showing that just now. That's fine. Default settings seem to be okay. I'll just remove my privacy cover to check. It's looking a little bit blurry. There we go, it's fine. Okay, now that webcam size also doesn't look too bad actually, so I'll just click OK. And I tend to have my webcam over in this corner, so I'm just going to click on it and drag it over. And there we go, we now have my webcam shrunk right down in the corner as required. I also generally have additional microphones, so I'll click plus and audio input capture. And that'll be my Blue Yeti, which has sucked since it was taken over by Logitech and added to their G-Hub. The performance of that microphone is just terrible now. I believe they've gimped it because they must have their own new ones out or something. There's literally no reason for this mic to go from sounding so good to sounding so bad. So just click OK on that. And it's asking me to select the device. If I drop down, you can see I have the Yeti Classic. And click OK. And now you can see when I'm talking that there's a little bit of a bounce on the Blue Yeti. Let me just move it closer to me. There we go. And as you can see, there's a little bit of bounce there. So what we can do, the mic's now in the way. Unfortunately, I'm moving the Blue Yeti closer to me. But what we can do here is it looks like it needs a little bit of a boost in order to bring it just up a bit higher because it's not recording much. I'm going to click the little cog here. Go to filters to ensure we're on the correct one. You can click plus and we can add some gain to it. We'll just call it gain, that's fine. And give it about, I don't know, maybe 10 decibels. Okay, and see where that goes. I could probably come up just a little bit more. 13 maybe. You're just trying to get it to just be under the yellow. 16 maybe. Oh, that was a bit of a peak in there. That's probably okay. As long as I don't scream into the microphone. Arr! Which obviously I'm not doing. Okay, while we're in here, we might as well click on plus. And add a noise suppression filter. So I have, so inside here you have two options. You have speed X, low CPU usage and low quality, or you have RN noise, which is good quality and more CPU usage. I'm okay with the good quality and more CPU usage, so I'll set that, set close, and that should have cleaned up that microphone. So what we can do is go right click and audio properties, advanced audio properties, sorry. And you can see we've got our items in here. Now we can see that it's also set up on every single track, which is never a good idea. So the Blue Yeti can be my main microphone, so that's fine. I can untick all of these other ones. So it's only on track 1. I want my desktop audio, I usually have that on track 6. So I can untick the rest of these. Logitech doesn't appear to be recording anything just now, which is interesting. So I shall look into that later, but I'll have that set as track 2 anyway. And the standard default mic I am just not using at the moment, or should not be using at the moment, so I'm just going to untick all of these. And click close, and then we can go back into our settings, and go back into our audio. You can select the different devices and how they show up in here. However, it's in the output where we can look here and we can click on our recording. You see, I actually set the streaming to 45k, that was maybe an accident. Should be recording, it should be at the higher bit rate. So again, change it to the NVENC encoder. And change that to 45 kilobits. Now, here's the difference. You can click the ticks here to enable the different audio streams to be recorded. So it will record all 6 audio streams. That is the 6 that you just seen in the advanced control panel. And that will allow me after the fact to jump between them as required or change the volume as required. So if user account control kicks in, for example, and it comes over the top, then that's going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem if I can then just go in and lower it on its own track. If it was in a combined track, you would obviously not be able to do that. Just click apply on it and click OK. So as far as my basic setup, that's me done. What I'll do next is I'll configure my Stream Deck so that I can turn the monitors on and off, and also connect up my capture card and set it up so I can capture external sources. Oh no, that's just a quick overview of how I have set up my streaming setup and my recording setup for 4K. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you disliked this video, give it a dislike too. If you get feedback on this or any other videos or suggestions for videos you believe we should do in the future, then please let us know in the comments below. And most of all, thank you for watching.